Welcome to the Polly the Wog channel. We have got a load of stuff here that my brother picked up earlier today. I don't know if you remember from a couple videos back or not, but we picked up that chimenea outdoor fire pit type thing, and we ended up selling it to somebody on the street that just saw it on our trailer and bought it off us for $10. But anyways, the lady that gave that to us, I believe her name was Victoria, and she had these other barrels of scrap in her garage. So my brother met up with her today and went and picked up all this scrap out of her garage. And he told me that there's a bunch of wires for me to cut out here and that there are different bits to go through. He never checked anything with magnets or anything in that. So I'm going to go through this and see what we can find that is, well, mainly brass or copper. You know, I'll probably separate any other non-ferrous stuff for him. He's aware that this is dirty cast aluminum. It's got some steel on it and stuff. But I brought out my brass bucket here that I can put bits in. Already threw in this little bit here of brass and copper. This is a little bit of brass and steel, it looks like. But yeah, I got my container to throw everything into, so I'm going to start. Let's put that up here for now with some cords. So that looks just like an extension cord, mostly. Oh, that's exactly what it is, a couple extension cords. Sorry, I'll drop those in there. Let's see, what else has a cord here? This microwave's got a cord on it. Yeah, I thought this might make for an interesting video, just going through this and seeing what I can salvage out of here before he takes it to the scrapyard in the morning. I might as well get this little bit of wire. Teeny piece of grounding copper. You know what they say, it all adds up. I guess it does eventually. And of course he's got the snaggle scrap in the form of chicken wire. Now of course this is all one of these chain cords. Everything is tangled every which way. Well, at least I found the end of it. Yeah, they couldn't have tangled that up any better if they tried. Alright, so the wire goes in the bottom there. Well, that was a bunch of work to get a cord. Oh well, got it now. Well, let's double check a few things here with my magnet. Of course, the chain is just steel. 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 Yeah, that's all steel. Are those steel? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, we'll double check some of this stuff that looks like brass. You know what? That is non-magnetic. Like this, when you're not too sure. Oh, looks like it might be brass. Yeah, looks like brass to me. Don't know how easy it is to clean though. Well, easier than I would have thought. Double check here with our magnets. That feels so light. And the edges of this file don't work very well. That's probably why it was in the trash. I am not sure. That might be aluminum. Oh well. Either way, it's still non-Ferrous. That looks like brass to me, but might be more white. It's hard to tell in the low light. Oh well, we'll still put that in there. The rest of this would be a little more work to come apart. Oh, see, if it was brass, I would take it apart, but I'm not convinced yet. I'm still having a hard time to tell if that's yellow or aluminum. Yeah, that's looking pretty white to me. Yeah, I'll leave that there and we'll make a decision at some point. That stuff's soaked in, it's not very heavy anyways. Alright, let's go back to cutting some cords. Oh, there's another horrible cord in the chain. Yeah, just a nest of wires everywhere here. There we go. Another cord. Yeah, I guess this lady that he picked all this stuff up from was just going to take it into the scrapyard and put it in their free pile out front, because they got a pile where you can drop off all kinds of stuff if you don't want to be paid for it. But if you're going to go all the way to the scrapyard, why not at least put it in the tin shred pile and get a little bit? I don't know. Some people just don't think about it. They just figure, oh, it's a place where I can drop off my junk for free and not have to pay for disposal. And they don't realize that the scrapyard would actually pay them money for it. I don't know what that is. Looks like some sort of trash disposal unit. A little bit more. There's this board that's definitely got some brass on it. Yeah, I got one big screw there to undo. I'm sure he has a screwdriver in here somewhere, but I never know where to find anything. Will this work? It might. Yeah, there's obviously a little bit more work to get that cleaned up, but lots of nice brass on there. A pound or two, for sure. Alright, I'll stick that in there. I guess this is the same as that other one. Old chalk line thing. That's dirty aluminum. Another one of these. Alright, let's go for those easy bits. Doorknobs, not too concerned about. They're a real pain to clean, if you know what I mean. Plugs. I know there's a little bit of brass on those. Guess I'll take that. See a key. Keys are normally brass. Yeah, it's non-magnetic. Ah, it looks like it's copper. Yeah. And the bolt is steel, but it's a little piece of copper on there. I guess we'll take this other plug. This little piece. Yeah, and that's going to be aluminum or brass. Steel. And then as soon as I picked that up, I'm like, that feels like brass, just because of the weight of it. Yeah, I think it's aluminum. Yeah, I think that's aluminum. Might be brass. It does look a little brassy in there. Right where I filed it, it doesn't. It looks white. Either way, non-Ferrous goodies. We'll figure it out at some point. What do we got here? I would say that's a nice piece of brass. Just need to get it cleaned up a little bit. So yeah, we'll take that. I'll take the plug. Another nice piece of aluminum for my brother. Just chuck that, whoops, into the back of his truck. I'll be nice, because I kind of know if I don't separate it, there's a really good chance that he's not going to bother to. That could be brass. No, that one's steel. Sometimes these door plates are definitely brass though. So those are something that you always got to double check. Yeah, part of it is, but it's dirty, so I don't want it. But I'll take the keys. Yeah, my brother just came in the house. He's like, I don't know, you might want to go through the trailer and pull out any brass or copper. See, that looks like it's a little copper holder, but totally steel, stuck to the magnet. Yeah, I figured right away that's non-Ferrous, probably stainless or pot metal. Either way, we'll take it in the house. There's another piece of that aluminum. Another piece of that aluminum. What do we have here? Great big chunk of non-Ferrous something. Curiosity. See if my file will tell me. File kind of stinks. Looks like it's aluminum. Yeah, it's either cast aluminum or die cast aluminum, zinc aluminum mix, right? But it's a big chunk of non-Ferrous, so we'll take that. Oh, that's non-magnetic, but I'm going to assume that's aluminum. But you know what they say when you start to assume. That's aluminum or stainless, one or the other. Toss it in the back there for my brother. That feels heavy. Yeah, that's either die cast or brass. It's very solid, very heavy. Nice if it was brass. It's die cast, but non-Ferrous, and it's clean. Into the bucket it goes. It's a little piece of aluminum. Oh, another one of these. Yeah, take our two bolts out of there. Yeah, got some clean die cast. See, another little glory pile back here. Yes, we'll take the plugs. Lots of plugs. I was thinking, you know, that this kind of looked like it was copper, and none of it is magnetic. So that's all going to come with me. More of the same. Yeah, it looks like copper. Nothing magnetic about it. Add it to the stash. Never did check that. I just assumed it was steel, and it is. Lots more switches. Yeah, this definitely looks like the pile with all the little brassy bits. You see lots more keys and brass door plates. I totally thought my container was going to be big enough. I might not have brought a big enough container. What's your dog's name?
Angel.
Angel!
And
I'm going to put you on YouTube, Angel, and make you famous. Yes, I am. That one's not. Steel. There's so much stuff. Not steel. Looks like a nice hunk of brass. Another nice hunk of brass. Brass. Oh, there's all kinds of goodies in this one. I think keys are brass. Brass. Another key. Another key. More light switches, which are not the best, but there's a little bit on there. That looks like a piece of brass. Yep. All right, let's gather up some of this. Yeah, I mean, with quite a container full of stuff. That's brass. I'm gonna be here for a while. Yeah, brass. More keys. More keys. There's another key. Plug. That might be brass. Yep. There's another key. Another key. I can see that's brass. Yep. Nice. Getting lots of goodies. Another key. Looks like a big old hunk of brass. Yep. Nice. Another key. Let's see another key. Keys just keep coming. Oh yeah. It's just keys all through this stuff. Key. Key. Brass. You know what? I've already got enough switches. I really don't want any more switches. That was funny. I tossed that one little piece of metal in here and it just stuck straight in. Ooh, it's an X-Acto blade. I'll stick that up there in that container. Let's go through what's not in the box. Oh my goodness, there's just keys everywhere. Key, key, key. More keys. Brass. Keys. Will the key come out? There we go. Is that mostly brass? I think so. Some of these keys still have key rings on them that are going to have to come off, but well, that's steel. Another key. Lots more keys. This might be getting a little redundant, but I want to pick out the goodies. Are those steel? Yes, they are. Is that steel? Yes, it is. More keys. Can't believe how many keys are in here. I must have picked up like 30 of them. Yeah, that's brass. Another handful. That's a big key. I think that's a brass screw. Let's get rid of some of this. Yeah, that's brass. So is that. A few more little brassies. More keys. Another key. Yeah. More for the bucket. Another key. Seems like it's brass. Another little key. Another one. There's another one. It's a screw that looks like it's brass. Yep. Well, I honestly didn't think I was going to pull this much non-Ferrous. A couple more keys. And I think that is it for that. Wow. That's got to be some brass with a little plastic end on it that I'll have to take off. But I will take the brass keys. Seems like a little piece of that copper type wire. Seems to be copper. Oh, there's a nice chunk of brass. Oh, I see something. Real nice chunk. Oh, it's even a piece of red brass. You know, I don't know if I've ever gotten a piece of red brass, but that is definitely red brass. You can clearly see that's yellow brass. This is yellow brass. This, red brass. Red brass is worth more. It's like over $4 a pound at my yard, but I'm never gonna get much of it, so odds are it'll go as yellow brass unless I can accumulate at least a pound, which I doubt if that piece weighs a pound. It's non-Ferrous. More keys. Is that brass? I think so. Crazy how much there is. Another key. Not sure if that was brass or not. Might have been aluminum. More keys. I see another key. That feels heavy. Yeah, that's going to be a bunch of brass. I don't know how easy that's going to be to clean. There's probably something dirty inside of there. But looks pretty clean. There's nothing that my magnet sticks to. So we'll take it. For sure. More keys. More keys, more keys. I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up with 2 pounds of brass keys. Is this brass? Nope. Well, part of it is. The rest of this feels like brass. Yep, go with my keys. Looks like a nice brass piece. Put that there. A little brass finial, or whatever you want to call it. More keys, more brass or aluminum, I think. Nope, I was wrong about that one. More keys, another key. Is it a little brass nut? Yeah, not magnetic. Another brass nut. Key. Key. So many keys. Alright, my hands are getting full. Well, if you're still watching this, you should probably give me a big thumbs up, because this is a whole lot of brass goodies that we're finding. I didn't expect this video to go this long, so I would really appreciate the thumbs up on the video. Helps out tremendously. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did that as well. So I'm almost at 2,200 subscribers. Never thought I'd see the day where I'd be over 2,000, so I'm pretty pleased about that. Oh, look at this nice big chunk of brass. Yeah, off the end of an air hose or something. Ton more keys, more brass. The keys just keep coming. That seems to be brass. And that's just a piece of aluminum. Throw that in the back for my brother. And I started grabbing these plugs at first because I thought, oh well, you probably won't get that much brass, so I'll grab it for the little teeny bit of brass that's in them, but there's so many of them. I don't want to spend 2 days smashing plugs to get a 1/4 pound of brass if I'm lucky. And that's pretty much just the keys and little brassy bits that I'm fishing for at this point. So the keys just keep coming. It's a little brassy bolt. There's another key, if I can get it. There we go. That looks like brass. Another little piece of brass. Oh, brass or aluminum. I think those are aluminum. Another key. Another little piece of brass. More keys. Do you have any idea how many keys I pulled out of here? Let me know in the comments, because I have not been counting, but I have got to be well over 50, I would imagine, by now. Sure, that's just steel. Oh, it's not magnetic, so who knows? Into the bucket it goes. Handful of keys and brass. Yeah, that's brass. Another key. Who would have thunk it? And another key. That looks like a copper noodle. Yep, it's definitely a copper noodle. Somebody was cleaning ACs. More keys. More keys. I feel like the more I look through this, the more I'm just going to keep finding stuff. I saw like 3 more keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already thought I dug through this end. Another key. 6, 7, 8. Wow. How does one person accumulate so many keys? It's another bolt that looked like the non-Ferrous. Yep. Not sure what it is, but It's non-Ferrous. More keys. I totally dug through this end. Try not to cut myself on sharp things. Alright, I think we're officially done with that. Well, another dozen keys. Crazy. Alright, cutters, get the cord off this fan. Another key. Just when you think you're done, you find another key. Alright, I'm going to add this other strap back on, get that chicken wire strapped in there. But the one other thing that my brother got out of this lady's garage that gave him all this stuff today was this beautiful long piece of pipe that's got to be 6 to 10 pounds. I'm going to say probably closer to 10 pounds. And this beautiful pipe is all copper. I don't know if you can see here on the end where this is cut, but this is a giant, thick copper pipe. So my brother really scored with that. That's probably $50 in copper all day long right there. But anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to take all my non-Ferrous goodies back in the house. I can't believe I filled that entire container. But my brother's going to take this into the scrapyard in the morning.
Good morning, and welcome back to the channel. You probably recognize this place by now. John Zubik Limited, reclaiming Canada's resources. That's it for today.
Well, that was a crazy amount of non-Ferrous little bits and goodies that I pulled out of that trailer there. Here's my container here full of all this beautiful non-Ferrous. I still got to go through all that and sort it all out, get it all separated, get it all cleaned up. That'll be my future stash of non-Ferrous materials. But anyways, that was so nice of Victoria to donate all of that scrap to us. That all came from one house, from one lady's donation. So we took that into the scrapyard, and the dishwasher on there, it was 100 pounds of enamel tin. Now, enamel tin is still going at $180 per ton, or 9 cents per pound. So that paid us $9 for the dishwasher. All right, I'll take it. And the rest of our load was just regular tin shred, and we had 300 pounds on the trailer. The tin shred was still going at $200 per ton, or 10 cents per pound. So that paid us $30. So altogether on the trailer there, we had 400 pounds of scrap metal, and we were paid $39. Not too bad from the one pickup, but as you saw there at the end, the real bonus was that giant, thick, round copper pipe that my brother also picked up from that lady. So it turned out that that copper pipe was number 2 copper because it was painted and all dirty and stuff, but still, it was 10 pounds of number 2 copper going at $4.97 per pound for number 2. So that paid us $49.70 for that one copper pipe. My guess of $50 was pretty darn close, if you ask me. But anyways, that means our entire load actually paid us $88.70. That was all from one lady's donation. So that wasn't bad at all. And she was honestly just going to drive that to the scrapyard and put it in their free donation pile out front. So I'm glad she gave it to us because $89.70, that's pretty good. Plus, I still got all this non-Ferrous goodies to sort through right there. But anyways, thank you for watching my very long video. I appreciate you being here, and I hope I see you right here in the next one.